thought it was kind of a joke, so we called our ag commissioner, and he said, yeah, your pigs are classified as feral because of the way that they look. And in Michigan, the Department of Natural Resources has proclaimed or declared that feral animals, feral swine, are outlawed. And they ordered us to depopulate our own animals by April 1st of 2012. Everything that I'm going to talk about tonight, I'm going to limit it to just these two pieces of paper right here. This is the declaratory ruling, and this is downloadable from the DNR's website, and you can read all about it. And then I'm going to fast forward to this piece of paper I got about 5 days ago from the Attorney General's office. Right? The declaratory ruling states that any animal that has one or more of 9 characteristics is feral. Right? A lot of this sounds like Saturday Night Live stuff, but it really isn't. If you go through the list of the 9 characteristics, they have, if your pig has a straight tail, it's feral. If your pig has a curly tail, it's feral. If your pig has a floppy ear, if your pig has a straight ear, it's feral. If the babies are striped, they're feral. And then the 9th one, which is my favorite, is other characteristics not currently known. Right? Sounds like a joke to me too. But the meeting that they called, I went to it with another farmer friend. There was about 40 of us there, and there was 3 armed men in the room, and they informed us that, hey, it's no joke, and you best be rid of those animals by the 1st of April, or $10,000 per animal for violation, and you can go to jail for 4 years, because they say that it is a felony for harboring an invasive species. Okay? So it sounds like a joke. It really does sound like a joke. So we pushed it a little bit more, and come to find out they were serious. And just like you see with this woman with the sheep, how you have all those federal agents there, these guys are men under orders just like I was when I was in the military. They're told to do something, and they're going to do it. And you get in the way, and you can get hurt. And so I really didn't have the luxury of standing tall on my own at my property. I didn't have that luxury. Because I've got small kids. We've got 8 kids. Some of them are just 12. So we sued the state in March of 2012. And let's see, March. And then April came, and they said that we had to be depopulated by April 1st. And I took an oath to defend and protect the Constitution of the United States from enemies both foreign and domestic. And I was duty-bound by that oath to refuse that order, because that order was unlawful. It was absolutely unlawful. Now, I refused that order, but our Attorney General should have seen that that order never went into effect, because it is an absolute unlawful order. It cannot be enforced. But you'll see what these people do, like the milk thing. That infuriates me. They'll say, you dump out the milk. And so the people that own the milk go and dump it. They should have said, you want it dumped? You dump it. Right? Yes, sir. Now what they said to me was, you have to depopulate your animals, and we had at the time probably 200 animals on the farm. We have beef and chicken, and we have lots of other things going, but we had about 200 pigs on the farm at the time. And they wanted me to depopulate my animals. They wanted me to shoot my own animals. And I said, I will not do it. I went to them through our attorney and said, I will not do this. I will not carry out this order. You can't make me, and I'm not going to do it. And they said, we got word that we're going to depopulate your animals, and that they were going to make a raid on my farm. That was April 1st. So we did what we had to get ready for that. The kids and Joe left. And I simply said to them, I will be here. I'll be here waiting for you. I didn't say I was going to be armed or anything like that. I said, I'll be waiting for you. And they didn't come. think that's an important part of the story, because every one of these, when there was no resistance from the American citizens by these thugs, right? That's all they are, is thugs. If you show them a little resistance, you know, they stomp their feet and they tell you what they want you to do. You tell them no, and they don't know what to do, because they're used to everybody telling them, doing what they say. In the state of Michigan, there's something going on here, and I'm not exactly sure what it is. I'm not from here, I'm from Massachusetts. I actually live close by where Kristen lives. I served with men from every state in the Union, and men from Michigan, young men, 18-year-olds, are some of the most ferocious warriors that walk this planet. I'm telling you that. But then when I come to your state, you're completely afraid of your government. And I really don't understand why. Because your government, and there's probably one or two of them in here because they knew I was speaking, but your government's not that bright. Not that bright. Your legislators are paid a lot of money. They work all year round. Most states, they're just part-timers and they get things done. Anyway, I don't know why you people are so afraid of your government, but one of the things you see, I think people really get hyped about this. You need to. I mean, you're outraged. You should be outraged by what you just saw in our country by these people. Outraged. And it is time to do something about that. And they asked me to assure them that I will not do that. But here's the thing. If I assure them I will not sell my piglets in the spring, then I am assuring them that I will be bankrupt in the spring. If I am bankrupt, I no longer have a farm. I no longer have a farm. I no longer have swine. I no longer have pigs. I no longer have standing to fight them in court. And that's how they hope to get this done. I can't tell you at this point what I'm going to do, but I think you can probably guess what I'm going to do. All right? And what I do is I go on YouTube every single day, and I answer questions that people from across the country just email me about just general farming things. I mean, there's chicken questions and kid questions, and I do a 5-minute video, and I do that so I stay in view of the public, because I'm a real thorn in their side, and I'm not falling in line like people do here. Now, I don't begrudge these folks, because it hits you by surprise, and you don't know what to do when you've got armed men in your face. You really don't. But I think they know that I'm ready for them, and so I think they want to get me out of the picture other ways.
Pigs, and what are they saying to you is the reason, you know, why they consider them feral? I mean,
because they have curly tails or straight tails. Don't expect it to make sense. This is all about market share. Big Ag, they want to produce all the pigs that you can possibly buy.
Are you paying the USDA for the quarantine?
Yes.
Oh, so there you go. That's right enough.
Yes, sir.
Is your congressman of any help to you?
They're help. I mean, you can cry on their shoulder, but they're one of, like, my senator is one of 38. So, you know, he's got a vote. I did testify before the Senate here in Lansing, and I got an eyeful of how that works, right? And that's a long story, but I can tell you it's not justice. It is not justice.
So is there no way to pressure those same congressmen? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, your constituents are voting for you. So is there no way to get, like, people who support you to pressure your congressman to say, look, we need, you know, you to help our farmers not to be prosecuted and pressured by the
Right.
USDA?
Well, okay, the question was, can't we pressure the congressman to do something to protect us? First of all, this declaratory ruling was leveled by the Department of Natural Resources. They are a regulatory agency. They are not lawmakers. I doubt very seriously they could put me in jail with this. I doubt it. Because it's not a law. Right? Bill Schuette, who is our Attorney General, is duty-bound to step in and say, wait a minute, boys. You can't do this. That's not the way it works. But he hasn't. And you got to ask yourself why. You got to ask yourself why. Our case hasn't ended. And it isn't me. It isn't Mark standing up here. It's you that's standing up here. Because you're an extension of me. Right? And if they knock me down, you need to be behind me to stand up and carry this flag in for the goal. Right?
Well, I want to, so.
And so the story hasn't ended yet. We're midstream. We've had to adjust, bob and weave. I mean, it's pulled us through the mud. It's not been good for us. We've had to fire 2 attorneys that were just, we believe, drank the Kool-Aid somewhere along the line. We have another attorney. And, you know, we've had to burn some bridges along the way to get to the end. And we need your help. We need your help. Social media is huge. I need media support, and that's been real difficult. They control the national media. I don't think it's ever going to happen. I mean, even the people that you think are buds on this, if they're in national media, they're going to shut them down on both sides of the political fence. And remember that too. Never politicize these food issues. If you want to be a Democrat or Republican, leave it at the door. Do it on your own time. It's a waste of time, I'll tell you that. Right? It's absolutely a waste of time. We need really a second party in this country, I believe. Because I think they're all one party.
Yeah.
But the social media is huge. We're at bakersgreenacres.com, and if you can share that so that name is like a rash in this country, it'll keep me and my family safe.
Yeah.
But if we win this one, or when we win this one, it'll give us a big stick, really big stick. You know, these guys are very underhanded. And that meeting, incidentally, and I can prove this, I can't show you the documents because the state put a gag order on it. But in deposition, we found out that it was Michigan pork producers that called the meeting, the Feral Swine Working Group, together and said, this is what we need to do. We need to call every pig with a straight-tailed curly-tail. And the only exemption they really gave is a pig that's raised in confinement. That's the only exemption. They call that domestic hog production. Where my hog production outside on pasture is not domestic. They say mine are feral. It boggles your mind that they can play around with the English language like that. This will really irritate you. And it was a farmer who wound up having a bunch of armed men show up at his farm. And he said, what's this? And they said, we're going to inspect your farm for invasive species. And he says, he's an older guy, you know, feisty, and he says, no, you're not. You get a warrant. So they went to the township. This is in Sheboygan County, or Sheboygan. And the magistrate said, warrant pigs? No, I can't do that. The magistrate did her duty. You know, she's an elected official, and she did her duty. You can't go giving warrants out to inspect for pigs. That's for, anyway. So they went to Lansing and get a warrant. I didn't know they could do that. And I can't believe that a judge would respect anything like that, but they did. And they went back to his place, armed, 10 guys, you know, a bunch of ATVs, 6 pickup trucks, black Suburbans, and they went on his property. They spent several hours, took pictures of pigs, and then they sued him in Sheboygan. And this poor guy didn't know what was happening to him, and so we heard about it, and the lawyer that we had at the time, he said, all right, here's some money, take care of this guy. And then we all went to the court case to see what was going to happen. I went through the doors at 8 o'clock in the morning to the courthouse. I went through a metal detector. I thought that was kind of different. Saw these police cars outside, state police cars, at least 4 of them. I thought they got to be having a murder case here today or something. I'm standing in the lobby with 2 of my friends, and there are some individuals kind of milling around, kind of like this, never making eye contact with me. Dirty, tattooed necks, you know, goatees, the long goatees. They look kind of familiar to me. They were federal agents. They're bums that got kicked out of the military and were weapons qualified, so they say, here you go, work for the Marshal Service. There was 5 of them there. I had no idea they were there for me, but they were. There was, in the courtroom, we counted 17 guns in the courtroom. They disarmed me going in. I had a Leatherman. You know, I'm a farmer. I carried a Leatherman tool. They took that off me. They sniffed me down with a bomb dog. They had one federal agent sitting here to my right, and there's significance to putting someone to your right if you're a right-handed person. And then they had one right behind me. And the other farmers involved in this were well over 60 years old. So they were there for me. And what did I do? What did I do? Raise pigs? No. I said no to them. I said no to them. So now they want to intimidate me. So they flying drones over my farm. That's going to intimidate me, right? They send guys to my farm at night, coming through the woods, scaring my kids, right? You know, but they're not moving. They're not moving me. They shouldn't move you either, because that's all they got.
Our senator, our U.S. senator, is the chairman of the agriculture department. Is that
I'd love to talk to him.
her?
Her?
Debbie
Stabenow? Sure. I mean, I feel here's my solution, all right? You gotta nail this at the lowest level. The other night, we went to the township, and there were 5 people on the township board. They all know me, they all know what's going on. We said, you know what? You need to consider an ordinance that makes it legal to do this in this town. And if they did, it would set up a boundary around us where we would be safe, right? And I think people are irritated by this, and they want to know what to do. So you call down to the governor's office and say, I'm mad as hell and I'm not taking it anymore. And some intern says, okay, they hang up, that's it. You haven't done anything. You haven't done anything. You got to go local and tell your local township, we want something done. And you can look them in the eye. You know them. They're your neighbor. Why won't you do this? Why? This is not right that you won't do this. I mean, it's just good sense. There is no problem in Michigan with feral swine. There isn't. This is, it's called the Hegelian principle. They come out with a problem, they make it up, and they say, here's the answer. And the answer is really what they want, right? So they're telling people in the city, towns and stuff that don't have a farm background that there's these ferocious wild boars that are roaming the streets, and they'll scare you and, you know, terrorize people. But this is just an example of other things that have happened in our country. But this is something we can do something about. The other solution that I think that I have, and we've made steps to make this happen, is you'll notice all of these are agricultural operations. What is Big Ag worried about? They're worried about the market share that they lose whenever you guys take over farming from them. So they're saying to you that, ooh, we don't want you making cheese. We don't want you fooling around with milk because you could poison yourself. So they're trying to tell you that it's very complicated and you can't do it. But right now, standing right here, there's a finite number of calories, food calories on the planet right now. They control most of them. But every time that you do some sort of farming operation, whether you raise a rabbit, a chicken, tomatoes, a row of corn, you're taking calories away, and you're feeding yourself with it. And you take it away just a calorie at a time. Just in a room like this, I mean, you could take a lot of market share away. So we said, okay, they put us out of business. Our production days on our farm almost seemed like they'd come to an end. So we have to do something else. So we thought, you know, with all the people that ask us how to do what we do, we thought, okay, we'll make a business out of it. We'll teach people how to farm. So it's passive aggressive. I hate these son of bitches. I want at 'em. I want at 'em. And what we have to do is put more farmers out there on the ground. A stampede. Think of a stampede. You got a cowboy out there and he's actually got a gun. But when the stampede starts, he can't do a thing about it. So we need a stampede of farmers. And maybe you don't do any of this. How many of you watch NASCAR on TV? A crowd like this probably not many. Or whatever, you know what I mean. But you watch professional football, but you're never going to do it. You might never even go to a game in real life. Well, you can watch farming operations, be involved with farming operations, find local farmers, buy their food, kiss them on both cheeks, and then say, I'm a farmer, and you will not tread on me. And that's what we're putting together. We call it Anyone Can Farm, and we got that name from the movie Ratatouille. Anyone can cook. Remember, there was an entity there that said only real smart people can cook, and then the dishwasher with a rat on his head wound up cooking it. I'm telling you, farming is forgiving. And now it isn't if you're flying an airplane and you're spraying pesticides that if you mix them wrong, you're going to kill the plants and the people in the adjoining houses. Then it's not forgiving. But growing food in good fertile soil and taking care of animals, it's forgiving. It can be done. And remember during World War II, there were victory gardens where you were told to do this for duty and for country. We're there. We're there right now. These people are making war on us. You know, I may be kind of the front line here, but you're the consumers. You're the people they're telling, you can't have this food. And you need to tell them where to go. Now, I'm from New England. My people fired on federal troops. And it was over a very similar situation. The British messed with colonists for a long time, 50 years. And then when they decided, the British decided that they were going to take their guns away from them and leave them defenseless, that was the end. So I'm not going to go into that, but they're fooling with your food right now. Don't want
So have they ruined you?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. We'll bounce back. Can't keep a good